What'd that one commenter say? Just open the box. Yay, it's a shoe. Nailed it. Yo, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and review on these potential bad boys. Depends on who you ask. If you ask me, kind of. But this is the Jordan Stadium 90, and this is not the special version. There's a couple of different versions so far, which is, I guess, typical brand fashion at this point. Every brand seems to want to do their real big energy launch, their special release, upcharge it a little bit, make you think it's something special. That way, everybody else gets the bottom feed and get this stuff.
This is not a society. This is anarchy!
Now, before we talk about the shoes, the box is gorgeous, I will say. It's a sail color. It's got the Stadium 90 logo on there, or the Flight 90, whatever it is that they want to do. And then when you open up that top, they come wrapped in the Red 23 paper, and then they got this gorgeous graphic. What it's supposed to do is call out what each piece of the shoe kind of like calls back towards. So these, believe it or not, are supposed to be a hybrid between two Air Jordan models. But, as Master Yoda once said,
there is another.
Before we get into this colorway, I will say that the white and black, or sail and black, whatever they're called, I think that they were released exclusively so far over at select boutiques that they normally collab with, A Ma Maniere and Social Status and stuff like that. Those are going to be releasing on sneakers, it looks like. At least they're listed on there right now. They're charging $145, whereas this version is usually about $140.
Wow!
The difference is the materials are a little bit better on the other shoe, the leathers specifically, and then the collar lining on that white black one has a more quilted look, whereas this is just like a standard sock liner. The logos also are a little bit flipped, where this logo on the tongue emblem is on the inside, and then on the outside is Michael Jordan's signature. So that's a special release, not necessarily a collab, but it's just a special release for whatever reason. Now, like the box states, these are supposed to be the Air Jordan 1 and the Air Jordan 5 combined, and yes, they have done this before in the past. There was a shoe called the Jordan 60 Plus. It was a little bit more than just the Jordan 1 and 5, but basically it was all the shoes that he wore while he got 60 plus points, and then they mashed them up into one big shoe. There was also the, what was it, the Air Jordan 1 Alpha days, the Air Jordan 1 with the Zoom Air, the first Jordan 1 with Zoom Air, not the current ones like the Comforts and stuff like that. But back in that time frame, I can't remember the shoe's name. I want to say it was like the Jordan Prime 5 or something like that. It was like a Jordan 5-ish looking upper with the Jordan 1 Alpha tooling. Let me know if you remember those. They're a weird one. Now, while the graphic inside the box lid, again, points towards like, hey, this is from the Air Jordan 1, this is from the Air Jordan 5, there's one shoe that is in here that is omitted for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is. The Air Jordan 4 is loose in here as well. The first nod to the Air Jordan 4 is actually behind the tongue, and it's actually the reason why I started looking into it, because I was like, why is the Flight logo on there? That was not on the Jordan 1 or the Jordan 5. It was only on the Jordan 4. The second thing is that the molding right here that is on the midsole, this little hump right here, the way that it curls into the back and then goes into the other hump, that is also identical to the Air Jordan 4 and its tooling, not the Air Jordan 5's tooling. And then last but not least, they are trying to say that this grid mark right here, the fake netting looking stuff, is a tribute to the Air Jordan 5's netting, but it's not. It's actually more closely related to the Jordan 4's netting. It wasn't until I had the shoe in hand, thanks to one of our WearTesters Discord community members, Raul. He's a great guy. He always helps me out finding stuff. He found these. He hit me up on DMs and stuff, and he was like, which color did you want, bro? The Grandpa Gray. You already know. I will say, though, the colorways of the shoe so far, I've only seen 3. This one, the white and red one, and that white and black one. All fantastic. But anyways, I'm just letting you guys know that those are the additional Easter eggs that I found in the shoe. Again, don't know why they're not talking about it. I wish that they would, because the Air Jordan 4 is my favorite model, but I saw it in there anyways because I'm a f***ing nerd. Now, the tooling of the shoe is brand new. This is actually doesn't really pay tribute to much of anything outside of the pivot point right there. Obviously, that's on the Jordan 1, but other than that, I really don't see anything in there. And I kind of dig it. One of the weird parts though, this is not a performance shoe, this is lifestyle. When I was taking them on the wood stage over there, they gripped really well. So I'm not saying that you can play in this or that you even should. I'm just saying I was surprised that they actually were pretty grippy. I also think it's cool that it's semi-decoupled and everything, which is really interesting as well. It's not completely decoupled, but when you move move up to the tooling, this is rubber, this little toe piece is rubber. Reminds me a little bit of the 80s, because you know, that was popular back then with the old EVA wedges within cup soles and stuff. So I thought that was a cool little touch. Now, speaking of the tooling, we actually have a couple of different things. So where you're looking at the B-roll, where the little toe cap is, and then you see that top line go underneath. So all of this bottom layer is actual rubber. This top layer, where the seam is and up, is actually foam. Not only is it foam, but it's Jordan Brand's Formula 23, and it doesn't feel like it. It feels like the most basic of shit that I've ever felt. Like I swear, like just Phylon sometimes can feel better than this. So I don't know if it's that they've thinned it out so much that there is no real bounce or feel to it. I like the way that it felt in the Lucas, even though it did bottom out a little bit. I didn't actually feel it at all in the 37s because it was completely caged in that little heel counter thing. They're comfortable in the neutral sense, as in no cushion. So if you want some feedback and stuff like that, or some mush or squish or bounce, that's not this. Now there is actually air in the shoe. It's just isolated to the heel. There's a little air sole unit in there. So I like to use this guy as just like a visual. That is not air. It's, well, I mean, it is air, but it's Zoom air, not just an air sole. This is an isolated heel unit. So basically you've got something like this in the heel of this shoe, but instead of Zoom air, it's just an air unit. So it's one of these, but small like that, and nothing in the forefoot. Does it feel great? No. Does it feel bad? No. This feels whatever. Does it feel like it's worth $140 to $145? No. This should be a $90 shoe, just letting you guys know. Now, as far as the materials are concerned, all of the nubuck or suede looking stuff is actually suede. It's a very shortcut suede. It is actual genuine suede. It's been flaking on my shirts everywhere. It's the good stuff. It's not great, it's not premium, but it's genuine, so I dig it. The toe leather and the heel collar leather is very disappointing. This is just a really heavily polyurethane coated leather. It's actual leather, it's just very bad quality leather, and so it doesn't flex very well. It doesn't look bad or anything, but it just doesn't feel good on foot. It ends up making the shoe flex funny. However, that black and white version, or the sail and white, whatever the other one that I was talking about, the one that's a little bit more expensive that they were selling at the other retailers, that one has a really nice soft looking leather based off of images. It's got like a little bit of a texture to it, very thin polyurethane coat. So if you were gonna buy any of them and you wanted the most bang for your buck as far as materials go, I would probably go for that one. And then this back collar area that is supposed to mimic the Air Jordan 5 is completely synthetic. It's not real leather whatsoever, so that's a big disappointment. Again, different than that sail and black colorway, which actually are genuine leather, and you can again see that in the pictures. You can see the grain in there. They did a good job on that colorway. Again, this is more of the GR colorway. I'm just surprised that it's only a $5 difference. It's like, really? For $5? You couldn't just do it? Yes, that's your slogan. Maybe live up to it. The insole is a cheap piece of shit. You could take it out though, and you can swap it out for anything you want, or you can leave it in there. The choice is yours. One of my favorite aspects of the shoe though is that they did use the nylon tongue. It's not that cheap nylon tongue with all that really weird stitching alongside of it, like an Air Jordan 1 low or an Air Jordan 1 mid. There are some additional stitching, but it's only right here where your ankle is at, and so it allows the tongue to sit nicely on your foot. And I will say that when I was putting these on for the B-roll shots for the on feet, the loose look, man, like the loose laces, or the, you know, lace loosely, I don't know how you would say it, but they looked dope.
I guarantee it.
Outside of that, they got a whole bunch of little Easter eggs all over the shoe. Like I was saying, you can see the Air Jordan 4 in here, you can see the Air Jordan 5, you can see the Air Jordan 1. You've got a little cute little Jumpman tab right there, which I think is really cool. Doesn't point to anything necessarily, but I dig it. And I really do like the little tab up here. In case you did not know, the Air Jordan that's on the top, the font of it, it's from the patch that's behind the tongue on the Air Jordan 5 where it says Air Jordan. That's also on the Air Jordan 4 as well. And then the font that they used for the Stadium is obviously that old Flight font, which I think is awesome. And then the 90 obviously pays tribute to the year that the Air Jordan 5 released, but the number style, or the font of the numbers, is based off of the old Chicago uniforms. Now, as far as fit is concerned, you can do one of two things. You can go true to size, you should be good to go. If you wanted a nice snug fit, you could go down half a size, and I would recommend that for those of you guys that are narrow footers. Wide footers, you should be good going true to size. This is a lightweight shoe, it's a lightweight build. You should stretch that suede out, no problem.
Excellent.
And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. Let us know what you think about the Jordan Stadium 90 down below in the comment section. I think that this is a really clean look. I know that people don't like hybrids. I personally do. I don't love them all. I'm looking at you, two trays. You guys suck. But I do like most of them. This one being another one. I also really like old Flight models. This looks like one of those, so I kind of dig it. It reminds me of the 80s or early 90s. Thank you once again for being here. We greatly appreciate it. We will catch you guys on the next one. So until then, have a good one. What do you think about these?
Oh, I like them.
Really?
Yes.
you, sick?
I'm just letting you know that I like them.
Okay, well, color me surprised. This is what I look like when I'm shocked.